Education Secretary, Minister of Education, Mr. Enos Oyaya, our County Director, our Education County Director, Mr. Kinudia, Imanyara, our DOs neighboring these districts. I can see around 4 of them around with us here. Our members of the DEP, the principals, head teachers, parents, guests who have been invited to this function, all protocols observed, our students, our pupils. May I take this opportunity to welcome all of you here, being the second district education day in the Kieni East. This district, as you all know, was known as Nyeri North. It was carved out of Nyeri. We had split into 4 districts, that's Madira West, Madira East, Kieni West, and we remain to be Kieni East. This is more or less the 3rd year since we remain to be Kieni East District. Our guest of honor, I will not forget to thank the head association of primary and secondary schools, the teachers union at KNUT, the CUPET, the DEP, the POGs, the SMS, the BTS, the sponsors, the member of parliament, the CDF, councillors, local leaders, and development partners for supporting the education sector in the Kieni district. The guest of honor, we thank the government for the implementation of the free primary education. This was said by the KEPSA chairman, which has allowed all the children to access education. This policy has also contributed to attaining the 2nd Millennium Development Goal, that is achieving universal primary education and making sure that as a country we are not left behind. Let me conclude with a word of advice to you that education without discipline may not take you anywhere. You must have self-discipline in order to achieve your vision, and I wish you well in your efforts. With those remarks, I wish to thank you, sir, most sincerely for finding time officially to attend this occasion in Kieni East District. I know how busy you have been, and I know from the way you introduced us, you'll be going somewhere else again, but sincerely, this is a honor that you have given us for coming all the way to Kieni East. Now, I want to request that, sir, I call upon 1 or 2 people to mention something, just to be seen. You understand that this is not our day to give speeches. You really assist the DO in so many ways, and I want you to be seen. Mr. Wachira is one of the proprietors of Graceland. You can see the banners. Just mention 1 or 2 things. Don't go far. You have only 4 minutes, please. And as a professional gentleman, a great friend of mine, I know you'll do so. Thank you.
Our chief guest today, the acting education secretary, Mr. Oyaya, the District Commissioner of Kieni East, and my great friend, Dan Odambu, guests present, local readers, students gathered here, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure, and I'm very humbled to have been singled by the DC as a representative of private education sector investment to come and be part of this great celebration. Let me say that Kieni is on track, because last year's occasion, I believe, was the first one where we showcased the efforts of students, the parents, and other investors in this sector. And it was graced, as we all know, by the very Honorable Minister, currently of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Samongeri. And I need to thank the organizers for going out of the way to persuade such high-powered government officers to be part of this celebration. I represent Graceland Girls School, and I would like to say that for the second time in a row, I gather that Graceland is claiming the overall top school in Kieni East, and it's quite humbling. But let me say something about Graceland. I believe, and my board members know it, that this is one school, one of the few schools in the country that was founded with a purpose. Our purpose is to create a world of learning for women leaders. And I can see we are on course, thanks to the enabling environment accorded to us by the District Education Office in Kieni. How we do it is simple. We borrowed from Stalehe Boys, and we targeted students, not the very best performance in CPE, but the average student who have 300, 310, 320. And also being a private school, we realized that to be relevant to our catchment area, where we actually tap public school students, not students from academies, we have to charge a reasonable fee. And you can bear me testimony, the students can bear me testimony, that this is one of the best private schools, and the board has endeavored to underline, and will continue to underline significantly the provision of quality education. With those few words, let me introduce my co-director, who is also the director of Institute of Primate Research, a very renowned world scholar, Dr. Tom Kariuki. Dr. Kariuki is the director of Institute of Primate Research, a world-renowned scholar. Last year we had my coach board member, Kanyike Mondo, who is now a judge of the High Court, and we join the students in congratulating Kanyike Mondo for his elevation to the post of justice. We do it, we offer mentorship to students, and we are very privileged that so many leading Kenyans have come to Graceland to speak to students, volunteering their time. And I need to single and express thanks to various professors who have come to Graceland, including Professor Kiapi. I remember Professor Kiapi when I was setting up Graceland. We literally came at night, and he told me he would take that idea to Transmara. I thank Professor Godfrey Moriuki, our neighbor at Malagema, who has continued to encourage Graceland. I thank Professor Dan Oruash, the former VC at KCA, who has taken time to come and talk to students at Graceland. I thank Professor Patricia Kameri Bote. The students in Graceland, in a very short way, are very blessed. Because in my days in school, like in Manu, I never saw a professor. But we have had 8 professors coming to talk to students at Graceland. Thanks once again to the enabling environment accorded by the district office at Kieni. I thank you all for being part of this celebration. May God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Wachira. And now I want to take this opportunity to call Mr. Iburu. Please come and do the remaining part so that we can have our guests being welcomed and given a chance to talk to us.
Our chief guest, Chairman DB and all members of the DB present, the DEOs present, distinguished guests, our principals, our students, our parents, all of us who are here, good afternoon. Our chief guest, before I make one remark, allow me to introduce to this gathering the Teacher Management Director, Mr. Kinoti Imanyara. Tafadhali, Mr. Kinoti.
Chief guests, Enos Oyaya, the Minister of Education, ES, the DC, the DEOs here present, the representative of Mheshimiwa of the area, all the teachers, principals, and head teachers, and teachers here present, the parents, students, and pupils. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Mine is very brief, sir. Mine is to say, as Mr. Kibroa said, I have been brought to Nyeri County as the TAC Director on Teacher Management. And one thing I want to start by saying, is that, sir, our mandate is to manage the teachers so as to ensure quality provision of services to our Kenyan child. And to be able to attain that mandate, sir, it is paramount that we work very closely with all the stakeholders, the Ministry of Education officials, the parliamentarians, the sponsors, the unions, the parents, and the teachers for the purpose of attaining our mandate. And sir, I would want to make one thing very clear. The media has kind of come up or portrayed a picture that there is a tug of war between the Ministry of Education and Teacher Service Commission. It cannot happen, because the bottom line of our work is the child and the quality of education that we are going to provide to that Kenyan child. And there is no way that can be achieved, sir, if all of us do not work very, very closely together. So we are going to work together with the direction of education here and all the other stakeholders for that purpose. Thank you very much. We will be knowing all the officials, all the teachers, and others involved in the provision of education in this county, so that ultimately we make Nyeri County a county with a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kinoti Manyara. Our chief guest, the TSC director, is only 2 weeks old, and we want to set Nyeri County as a role model to other counties in terms of achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are honored to have the Education Secretary, Mr. Enos Oyaya, an educationist with a wealth of experience, practical experience. And I would like to say, our chief guest, we warmly welcome you to Kenny East. And ours is we are very eager and very delighted to have you here. And I would like to ask all of us who are here to be keen to be alert as our chief guest take us the journey to review our achievement, our challenges, our current position, and actually go to the next millennium with a proper focus. The DO has given a very good brief, and the DC, the chairman of the DEB, as regards to our performances. And our chief guest is the person who set the direction of the ministry. So I would like to request the congregation here to pay attention to our chief guest, so that his presence here gives us a milestone in charting our strategies to the way forward. I ask all of us to stand so that we may welcome our chief guest. So our chief guest, Karibu, Makofi. Tena. Thank you, sir. Karibu.
The district commissioner, Mr. Ndaba, who is the chairman of DEB, the country education director, Mr. Guru, and his counterpart, TSC director in charge of teacher management, the district education officer, who is my host, and his colleague district education officers from Nyeri County. All members of the education board here, all stakeholders here who are here, including those who are aspiring to be members of parliament, who think I do not understand Kikuyu, I heard. All they were saying they were advertising themselves. All our professional associations and unions which are here, all our head teachers who are here, all our teachers who are here, all members of the fourth estate, that's the media which is here, all teachers and students and pupils who have come today, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start my speech, I would like to request to recognize one important thing which I have gathered from all those who have spoken here, because I feel that there is something very unique in this district from the speeches I've had. And I would like to request the following to come forward so that I can congratulate them and tell them what I have for them from what I had from them. The chairman, Kenya Secondary School, come forward. The chairman, that's the head association, the primary, and Mr. Mutai, please come forward. Come forward, come next to me. You are all my brothers. You are all children before me. Just come. Where is Mutai has left? Is he gone? He has left. But this is the one who is here. So, but I want to thank those who are not here in absentia and pass them the message. I think from your speeches, I've loved them and I'm happy with them because you are all professionally pitched. You don't talk things which should not be talked in Education Day. Thank you very much. You can sit down. I would like to say that I'm not, someone like Mutai, who is now the KMC secretary, was one of my officers, and when he was the chairman of the provincial primary schools head association, and he was one of the best in organizing our co-curricular activities. And I think what I've seen from him today is completely far ahead of many of his colleagues of the same caliber. I wish they could borrow a piece or words from them because he knows what to say and where to say it. Among us who are elders, you know that good things are achieved when the children are asleep and the chicken are also asleep. That's when you see good things. You don't achieve good things when everybody is there. There are some things you can talk when you are together. There are some things you can talk when you are only two of you. And I would like to thank them. That is my appreciation to all of you and all speakers who have been here. You are really professional, and that one has taken my heart. The other thing I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, I was invited here, and the DC and his secretary, very, with a lot of feeling and a lot of attachment, wanted me here in person. I was to go to many other places I've delegated, and I've come here in person as Oyaya, the man they wanted. So I want to deliver also at that person they wanted in person. Let me first of all say that the topic, the main theme of my speech today, which I would like you to listen to, it will not have answers, but you will have to look at it yourself, evaluate, synthesize, and come up with a framework for solutions. And the topic for that is that darkness fears light, and therefore punishes light because it knows that light can make it to be transparent and doesn't like transparency. I know many have said today it's a very important occasion when we are ready to reflect, and I'm happy that you have been reflecting. I will not go into that. The importance of education as an investment that opens horizons and empowers people to actively participate in productive development cannot be overemphasized. Let us now not view education as simply a social process that everyone needs to go through. Let us don't see education as compulsory or free. That is a simple process. But let's see education from Israel perspective, the perspective of quality education, the perspective of making somebody to be an equal. So they said education as an equalizer. The other thing I would like to say, we should be able to open up if we have to know that the importance of education and see it differently, and more particularly as life itself, as growth, and as an equalizer. And it is indeed a super highway to life. If you want to go somewhere, it is like a thicker road. You will have many channel ways to education. You can access it through adult education like the one we saw here. Education is like cultivating in a farm. If you want harvest within 10 years, plant a corn or maize. But in 1 year, plant maize. But if you want harvest for 10 years, plant trees. And if you want harvest for life, plant education. So education you harvest for life. Education is not an animal which can be killed by ticks. Education is above the ticks attack. Education itself is like honey. Harvesting honey is not easy because you have to fight with the owner, the bees. But once you get it and taste it, you know how sweet it is. Even during your time, I'm not very good in the historical use in education, but during that time, I remember when I went to that one for the first time, that time when I went to that one, we are not equal. And many of you know that time, I went in the shack which was here, with Oyaya dangling around. Yes? The thing called Oyaya was dangling around. Yes? And there was no shame. We were learning. And later on, when we see standard 3, we had this shot with a tube. I don't know if you know it. With something here. And whenever there were not latrines, and whenever we went to we were going to the so-called latrines, which was the jungle, you would leave that tube somewhere, and you go somewhere. And when you come back, one has a funny colleague has run away with it. So you run with him naked up to the class. We didn't see that nakedness of ours. We are only seeing education. So what is important that it has equalized us so that the extent where we are. Among us now, these students, there are some who are putting shoes for the first time in their life, but there are some who are born, and when they were born, they found shoes already put on their legs or on their feet. But when they go to school, it doesn't show who had shoes when they were born, or those who got it because it was compulsory, the parents had to buy, the way mine was compulsory. Today, we are here to witness whether this district or this region harvests real honey, or whether it's harvesting the combs. But your performance compared to other regions, particularly similar schools of same caliber, provide a live wire challenge. You know, I'm happy you have praised yourself, you are very confident. But you know, even the pygmies, where they are very confident that there's a tall person and there's a short person. So even among the pygmies, there's tall, taller, tallest. But when that pygmy who's called the tallest comes among the tall, it is now again, it turns to tall, the shortest. So what I'm trying to say, I would like you to look at the first page of that. And then we see ourselves in terms of what we are, because the secondary is the determinant. We go directly to university. And therefore, that is where you can fail or not fail. Primary, you have time to correct in secondary. But primary is a determinant factor that you have to think about. So in the first one, let me just go to the second page, those who have it. I'm looking at the second page, and I've just taken 1 or 2 schools. I've taken 3 examples of schools which I think are old, and about 3 examples of schools which I think are a bit new. So I'm looking at the Equity Girls. I'm looking at Narumoro Boys. I'm looking at Narumoro Girls. I'm looking at Narumoro Mix. It is good they are all here, and they will see it themselves. There will be no doubt in Thomas. So I look at it, and I see it. You look at that one, and you can see, yes, we have 5 for A- in Monomoro, B plus 20 and 19 and others. And I think it should be the best performer among them. And look at that. Then go to page 1 and ask yourself, are you performing or you are struggling? You will tell me after that.
So if you look at that, you are a district, you had no A plane. So Kagumo had 7A, Kagumo here, which means I think this division of districts is very useful because people have known that they were hanging on the coats of others. Because you thought you were performing because Kagumo was there nearly. But look at that. You see they have 7A and 52A minus. How about you, Kieni, as a whole? You have only 8A minus. 8, Kagumo has 52 and 7 others. You look at Gandu, they have 17A plane and 50A minus. You have only 8, which is achieved by Arabic school in Bondo. Arabic school in Bondo is able to get that, one school. Then, I'm giving you St. Mary's boys here, just in Nyeri here, they are 10 and 18. Nyeri High School 27 and 49. I'm just on the other A. Muhoho 6 and 21. I don't want to go very far. Gandu 17 and 50. Now, you go to a school of your level. All those schools put together cannot compete with Maranda. All those have named. Kagumo, Gandu, St. Mary's, Nyeri, Muhoho, Bishop Ketimu, and the whole of Kieni East put together cannot compete with Maranda. Because 7 plus 17 is 24, 24 plus 10 is 34, 34 plus 27 is 61, isn't it? 61 plus 6 is 67, 67 plus 17 is 84, isn't it? So those schools plus a district and 84 A plane were under 97. I'm just giving you an example. So, because I don't want to talk about alliance, I want to talk about that. But those are schools of your caliber. And when you go to A minus, they are 104. So that district, how many are they taking to secondary? That's where you look at. You look at yourself and review. So you are celebrating, yes, I agree with you. But Kenya is big. Don't compare yourself with your neighbor who is a dwarf. And you say you are taller than a dwarf. I would like to take that. If this one should challenge, I just took